Hello everyone, my name is Zhao. I am a PhD student in Avital University Institute of Landscape Architecture. Urban farming has been paid more and more attention in many countries due to concerns about climate change and food security. But contributions of small-scale urban food production, which supports a great number of the urban poor, are being neglected in Chinese cities. In this presentation, I will show what are the urban food production in informal food systems in China. The subject of my presentation is, can urban food production in informal food systems be sustainable? An assessment on the case of Nanjing is a part of my PhD research. First, what is the food system and what is the role of the informal sector in food systems? Food systems have usually been conceived as a set of activities ranging from production through to consumption, with particular emphasis on processing, marketing, and various transformations of food. Urban food production is a very important part of informal food systems, which links with urban ecology, urban food supply, and urban labor. Long food chains are the main characteristic of modern food systems, which have a negative effect on environment, while small-scale farmland contributes to short food chains and diversified local food supply. With a growing population and expanding cities, it's necessary to pay attention to small-scale urban food productions and their potential to improve food security. In China, family workers, the self-employed, and carrier workers are characterized as informal employment groups. Enterprises with 7 or fewer workers are also considered to be informal. Most importantly, informal sector activities differentiate from the illegal or underground economy, and they are not deliberately intended to evade the payment of taxes or social security contributions. Disadvantaged groups engage in urban farming practices and informal food vending to make a living in cities. Most of small-scale urban food productions are spontaneous and lack support from government and organizations. Urban food production also provides citizens with affordable fresh food. Food systems are complicated, that formal activities and informal activities entangle in the food chains. I figure out food chains according informal production and marketing in this graph. Some food from large-scale farms also flow into vendors, but that depends on types of food and marketplace. In order to focus on local food consumption and short food chains, several sectors need to be excluded in this research, including big farms and small shops. These animal products, including meat and milk, cannot be sold in open-air markets because of the simple and decrepit infrastructure. So this research only focuses on fresh plant-based food. Informal food systems put emphasis on disadvantaged groups and short food chains. So, the aim of this research is to improve its contributions to social welfare, environmental security, and ecological benefits. Informal food systems focus on small-scale food production and vendors' market that contribute to local food and short food chains. Production and marketing are the two most significant parts. Agriculture in China belongs to neither formal sector nor informal sector, but there are informal food production and formal food production. The uses of land depends on its property and ownership. So, informal food production refers to farming on non-agricultural land. Different groups tend to farm on different kinds of land. Only the small-scale farmland, which owned by farmers, are protected by laws. To identify and document informal food chains in Nanjing, field work has been executed in August and September in 2019. Nanjing is the capital city of Jiangsu province and is in the lower reaches of Yangtze River. I selected 3 sub-districts to interview the vendors and trace the food chain to production sites. In the end, 6 samples are selected and analyzed in this presentation. As you can see from the map, vendors are selling in the city center and their farmland are located in the urban and peri-urban areas. This is the summary of samples from 3 sub-districts, including itinerant vendors and 1 open-air market. It's just open at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., so generally it's called morning market in China. There are 2 sites outside Nanjing, so they are not included in the following research. And then I added a site from the literature. These vendors are farmers. In this morning market, vegetables and fruits are the main food items by investigation of the morning market in Shaolin Wei, in which vendor stands account for 65% and 14.5% respectively. Banqiao subdistrict and Guli subdistrict have many small-scale vegetable plots, while Qilin subdistrict is different. There are a large area of arable land, but these lands are rented to a company from farmers. Only a few farmers grow vegetables for self-consumption and surplus for selling. Food production on construction land is informal food production due to the compensation issues, inappropriate urban planning or supervision, and delay from developers. Some lands are redistributed and left unused or even abandoned during construction. Food production in informal food systems is different from farming on allotment garden, that the former aims at generating income and employment opportunities, and the later is for self-consumption. Small-scale farmers and new urban residents make a living by urban farming and selling food in open-air markets or wet markets. This paper studied the evaluation principles from different organizations. Then a set of indicators are selected according to above principles. And the description of risks and benefits of urban food production was developed, which can be applicable to informal food systems. This is Principles of a Healthy and Sustainable Food System from American Planning Association. It focuses on different dimensions of food systems. Here is the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, which contains different sectors along the food chain. The project food meters give assessment indicators on sustainability impact from 3 dimensions. Based on these 3 frameworks of assessment principles, I summarized 15 indicators to evaluate the urban food production in informal food systems. As we can see from the results of assessment, I separate the formal urban food production and informal food production. This table shows that benefits of urban food production are more than its risks in every dimension. Especially in economic aspects, there is only one weakness in urban villages and peri-urban agriculture, while ordinary people can benefit more from urban food production. Furthermore, farming in urban villages and peri-urban areas have more benefits and less risks compared with farming on idle land. Environmental conditions such as water and soil in idle land are worse because of its informality. But in social dimension, 2 types of urban food production share the same situation. The significant reason for these differences is the property of land. So planning and supervision are very important in informal food systems. These risks can be largely avoided through the attention and help from other organizations. Civic organizations in informal food systems could play a more important role to coordinate the relationship between fragmented small-scale urban food production and the government. Official planning cannot take all these situations into account and build sustainable informal food systems because of huge population, temporary food production, and changing land markets. As an effective way to improve sustainability of informal food systems, informal planning is generated by a dynamic, fluid, and temporary purpose-oriented network to empower citizens in self-producing public space. Organic farming can be a tool to improve the competitiveness of small-scale urban agriculture. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, you can contact me during the discussion session or through the email.